You were once the son of the family's Qilin. Overnight, it became a weak energy shattered from the dantian, just as the family was about to kick you out. But you have comprehended the legendary supreme sword intent. They all thought you had taken a wrong path. Little do you know, 10 ancient lords live in your dantian. Jingye City. The Lin family said there was no tide. The sun is very harsh. The shouting of the drills was loud. But all of this is with you. Lin Yuan had nothing to do with it. You just sit cross-legged under the banyan tree in the corner, like an outsider. For 3 years, every day has been like this, because you simply cannot gather energy. Hey, look at Lin Yuan, playing the role of a statue again. A single thought of fear and energy. The elders all regarded him as a treasure. He said he could lead the Lin family to great success. Who would have thought? To save someone. The dantian was covered in the middle window. These 3 years, the family head had invited all the famous doctors. Completely useless. Genius. Absurd. Right now, I'm just a weakling. You didn't open your eyes. Just the fist in his sleeve. He clenched his grip even tighter. These idle talks. You listened for a full 3 years. His ears were about to develop calluses. From the start, he was so angry he wanted to fight. Until now, you've become numb. Just then, Elder Lin Changfeng on the high platform. The sound crashed down like a red bell, and was solemn and tranquil. The whole place instantly fell silent. 3 days later, family resources were pacified. According to the rules, at 16, you still can't gather energy into your body. Go to the tree altar to dry and smash fires. All cultivation resources have been cancelled. Boom. As soon as these words were spoken, the whole place erupted. The next second, dozens of gazes, like a searchlight, all in unison, pinned down on you. Sympathy, sigh, and schadenfreude. Every glance, all are hotter than the sun overhead. Erect altar, isn't that just telling you? Are you completely cut off from martial arts in this lifetime? Xiaoye, a voice sounds beside you. Open your eyes. He's your good cousin, Lin Feng. He was now the most handsome in the Lin family. High cultivation, good relationships. He patted you on the shoulder. He sighed. His face was full of concern. Don't force yourself to do it. Even if you become the weakling, the family will support you. People cursed him and accept your fate. This kind of hypocritical compassion, better than calling you a weakling. It makes you even more uncomfortable. He is reminding you, you're just freeloading now. You ignored him. Stand up, dodging his hand. At that very moment, outside the salt shop, a pair of luxury carriages parade proudly through the streets. The carriage bore the emblem of the city lord's mansion. Li Mu, the son of the city lord's family. Surrounded by a crowd, I got out of the car. He was dressed in brocade, full of pride. He didn't even glance at the corner of his eye at Yang Huachang. It was as if this place were abandoned. 3 years ago, you are the real protagonist. Li Mu is only fit to be your background figure. And now, he was a predetermined disciple of the 5th Academy of Tianfeng. The future is limitless. And you? He was about to be kicked out by his family. You look at Li Mu's lofty back. His fists clenched until his knuckles turned white. Ignoring jealousy, it's just unwillingness. My path, it really is the end. You roar in your heart, but he couldn't make a single sound. Immediately after, cultivation ended. When it was time to initiate the Yuan pill, it's your turn. Steward Linda closed the roster directly. He turned his head and wanted to leave. Steward, you stop him. Reach out your hand. Mine. Linda exaggeratedly slapped his forehead. Ouch. Look at my memory. She had forgotten about young Master Yuan. He spoke politely, but his face was full of indifference. He pulled out a black-colored pill from the bottom of the medicine box. It was obvious that the pill was of inferior quality and of poor quality. Throw it to you. Grant, young Master Yuan. A few uncontrollable snickers echoed from the surroundings. You didn't say anything. Clutching that pill. Medicine. Flying up at night, a line of golden font. It stings your eyes. Only after breaking can one stand again. Breaking out of the cocoon and reborn. And the illustrious ministers were reborn. In fact, having read this far, all the confusion in your eyes, unwilling, it instantly turned into a frenzy of risking everything, rather than being kept here like a pet. Lost in sympathetic gazes, Better to gamble with your life. You didn't hesitate at all. He swallowed the thorn-grade pill in one gulp. Bet. Night. So dark you can't see your hand in front of your face. You lock the doors and windows. Sit cross-legged. The pungent medicinal power melts away in your stomach. However, but you didn't play by the rules. All you can think about is the record in that broken book. That meridian route that only those who have lost their mind would take. Counterrush begins. You use all your mental strength, holding the medicinal power, toward a meridian that is completely opposite. He rammed it hard. Boom. Intense pain. It looked as if someone was holding a shield knife, hanging inch by inch inside your body. You grunt. Gently lifted her forehead. His whole body trembled like a sieve of chaff. Sweat instantly soaked through his clothes. But you grit your teeth hard. Once was heavy breath didn't make a sound. Only one thought roared in his mind, and could not be stopped. If it stops, all efforts are wasted. This is your last chance. Finally, you put that completely uncontrollable wild force, and forcibly pushed your lifeless dantian. You thought there would be a turning point. However, no. The moment the medicinal power rushed in, like a spark falling into a powder keg. HMPH. Your world. It exploded. Everything went black before his eyes. Your consciousness, overcome by an astonishing force, pulled into a bottomless black hole. No one knew how much time had passed. When your consciousness awakens again, you witness a scene you'll never forget for a lifetime. You are in a shattered, chaotic space, countless points of light like fallen stars, lifeless and lifeless. And to your shock, this is inside your shattered dantian, the legendary Dao Si. Immediately after, you see something even more chilling. In the midst of this chaos, 10 towering giant statues stand tall, towering from the sky to the earth. They all have different shapes, domineering, solitary and aloof. No records, peerless. Each one radiates an overwhelming pressure that makes you want to kneel and worship. Hallucination. How could there be such a mysterious substance in my dantian? Your perception has been completely overturned. Try to approach the one holding the longsword, the most solitary statue. But just then, your consciousness begins to rapidly drain. It was clearly about to fade away completely. At this critical moment, on that sword-shaped statue, it was as if something had gone viral, a sigh that seemed to have traveled through eternity. It sounds directly in your consciousness. What an indomitable will. The next second, a cool breath drifted from the statue, instantly wrapping around your consciousness that is about to collapse. The next day, early morning, sunlight shines on your face. You suddenly sat up from the bed, gasping for breath. You touch yourself. It's fine. There wasn't even a trace of pain. Instead, he felt an unprecedented spirit. Everything from last night. Could it be a dream? Right. The bell of the training ground rang. The family was pacified. It began. Martial arts arena. A sea of people. The atmosphere was oppressive. You stand at the very end of the line, calm as an outlier. On the viewing platform, your father, Lin Tiannan, City Lord Li Wei, and his son, Li Mu. Everyone sat there. Li Mu's gaze swept over you. The corners of his mouth looked so disdainful, unabashed. Very soon, it's your turn, Lin Yuan. Step forward to test it. Elder Lin Changfeng's voice. It was like reading a script, without any emotion. Whoosh! The whole audience once again focused on you. You stepped forward. He pressed his hand against the black test spirit stone. 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds. The stone showed no reaction. The entire venue fell into dead silence. Immediately after, it was the expected sighs and uncontrollable mockery. Elder Lin Changfeng on the high platform. Hands up. Just as you are about to announce your final outcome, strip all of Ling Yuan's share of power, transferring in, and so on. You spoke. The voice was not loud, but it interrupted him. The whole audience stared at you in shock. I saw you slowly lower your hand. Close your eyes. You will hold back the frustrations of these 3 years. Unwilling. All the cold stares and mockery, all condensed into a force of unmatched sharpness. At the very moment you close your eyes, your unseen dantian reaches the depths of the sea. That sword-shaped statue. A glimmer suddenly appeared in his blurry eyes. Outside, the eyes are unpredictable. You suddenly open your eyes. You turn around. He picked up a wooden sword from the nearby weapon rack. He pointed it at the black iron eye pen used for testing on the outside of Bai Nu. He strikes the simplest pose, surpassing entry-level sword techniques, and stabbed straight at him. What is he trying to do? And stabbed the wall with a wooden sword. Have you lost your mind? Li Mu chuckled foolishly. He picked up his teacup. Get ready to watch the joke. But in the next second, a foolish smile on his face. Frozen. Your wrist flicked. The wooden sword thrust out. No spiritual energy. No sword light. Not even a loud sound. However, a pure white shockwave. It silently shot out from the tip of the sword. Extremely fast. Yes, a clear sound. Then, The entire venue fell into dead silence. Everyone's eyes nearly popped out. He stared intently at that wall. On that incredibly hard black iron cliff, suddenly, a sword scar half an inch deep had appeared. Straight and straight, smooth as a mirror. Wooden sword. It barely touched the wall. What kind of power is this? The entire venue fell silent. On the high platform, Elder Lin Changfeng's raised hand was suspended in midair. The expression on his face shifted from regret to shock, and that inside that has always been full of pride. She suddenly stood up from her seat, supporting myself with both hands on the railing. He stared intently at the sword mark. His lips trembled. He spat out 2 words. Sword intent. The words, sword intent, like a single one. Startled. He spoke in a deep voice. Elder Changfeng, test results. Lin Changfeng wiped the cold sweat from his brow. He stammered, although the family head hadn't activated the spirit stones. But this power far surpasses that of the great Qi force. The foot specs probably don't exist. This is equivalent to saying, you passed. I disagree. Lin Feng jumped out. Her face flushed bright red. Her eyes were full of jealousy. A foot spec is just a foot spec. If the spirit stones don't shine, you're weak. Who knows what shady tricks he used? He made an exception for him. The family's Lian Wang Nage. However, you can't be bothered to talk to him anymore. You just turn around, facing my father on the high platform. He said calmly, Father. There was no breath left, however, under everyone's shocked gazes. On the hard bluestone slabs, a brand new scratch silently appeared, behanded. Desire forms traces. Now, who still dares to say anything? Enough. Your father is in dire straits. A powerful pressure enveloped the entire arena. Lin Yuan's situation was special. Retain the core students and strive hard. A 1-month observation period was established. It settled then. The head of the household spoke. No one dared to say anything anymore. You quietly retreated. Rely on strength. I thought I had one back for a month. That night, in the small courtyard, you again closed. But those eyes, sharper than a blade, for example, awakened Wu, an ancient voice, explode in your mind. You are utterly shaken. Respectful transmission. The younger generation stands by the abyss. Greetings to the elders. The phantom was silent for a moment. Wu Ming, the vast sky, the people, calling me, visibility, visibility. These 2 words, the vibration makes your consciousness tremble. He seems to know all your questions. He spoke directly. This place, would rather make an agreement with the Hongmeng Dao Si. It is the opportunity after your dantian is shattered. Wu and other poets, all of which were places of ruin in ancient times. A faint lingering soul dwells here. A few words, uncover a truth that nearly shocked you. Your dantian, it has become a nursing home for the ancient land. It is your spirit of unyielding. Awakened Wu. Jiandi's voice carried a hint of approval. You asked the most crucial question. Senior, my dantian has already been destroyed. Unable to gather energy. Is the path of martial arts a thing? Ha ha ha. He laughed at the scene. The laughter was filled with disdain and pride. Spiritual energy. That is an ordinary thing. Did you know? Your body, what a treasure it is now. It could no longer store spiritual energy, yet it can accommodate the original source, the useless body in the eyes of the world. It is truly a once-in-a-lifetime divine burial. From now on, forget about spiritual energy. Walk your own path. Divine repository. Origin. It feels as if thunder explodes in your mind. A brand new one. The path that suppresses everything unfolds before you. The golden boat is like a single step of the Dharma gate. The pure primordial sword heart is severed. No spiritual energy is needed, and focused exclusively on practicing sword intent. As soon as he finished speaking, the sword emperor gently tapped at you. Boom. A profound spell, instantly etched in your mind. Thank you, Senior. You are overwhelmed with excitement. Go ahead, don't let them wait too long. The sound of the ground gradually faded away. Your consciousness returns to the body. Suddenly opened his eyes. The whole world, in your eyes, it is completely different. You feel like you're about to take off. Just then, knock knock knock. A rapid knock sounded at the door. Outside the gate, a report came from the moment of suppressed excitement. Young Master, Family Communication, Elder Zhao of the Tianfeng 5th Courtyard. He personally visited the door. Nomination, I want to see you. You hear the voices of servants outside the door reach your ears. With a faint tremor she couldn't hide. Tianfeng 5 Courtyards. These 4 words, In Qingye City, it's a golden name. The turmoil in your heart that is transformed into the hell. It instantly calmed down. Only a patch of Qingming remains. You push open the door. The servant outside the door was attacking him. His face was filled with uncontrollable excitement. Lead the way. Your voice is without a ripple. You step into the Lin family's main hall. The lights were bright and bright, but the atmosphere was off. An invisible pressure. Everyone was pinned down to the chair. The main seat is above. Your father, the family head, Lin Qiannan, personally sat to accompany him. Beside him, a grey-robed elder sat there. Elders of the Tianfeng Fifth Courtyard served him. It was Elder Zhao during the day. Meanwhile, Li Wei and his son Li Mu were also there. It seems, Elder Zhao first went to the city lord's mansion. All the gaze instantly fixed on you. Your father's gaze is complicated. Li Mu leaned back in his chair. Cross your arms over your chest. He looked like he was watching the show unfold. Lin Yuan, greetings to father. Greetings, city lord. Greetings, Elder Zhao. You are neither servile nor arrogant. There is no need for excessive formalities. Elder Zhao raised his hand. His gaze was like two sharp awls, piercing straight into you. Little friend, I am doing this for one thing. He doesn't beat around the bush at all. Daytime, you using sword intent. As soon as these words were spoken, your father's breath stopped for a beat. The amusement on Li Mu's face faded from his onlook. Her body unconsciously sat up straight. This is the highlight of tonight. You meet Elder Zhao's gaze. He nodded calmly. I wonder if that counts as advice. But my path now, he really is different from others. Elder Zhao raised an eyebrow. How different is that? My dantian has already shattered. Spiritual power was completely lost. You calmly say this, a fact that once made you feel unbearably painful. Now, but it felt like he was talking about someone else's business. You didn't hide anything. Jiandi Zhangxiao pointed you out a path to the heavens. The path of spiritual energy. You no longer care about it. Your confession. Everyone was stunned for a moment. Li Mu frowned even more. He muttered something to himself, probably thinking you were being mysterious. Elder Zhao is staring at you intently. He spoke slowly. Can you show it again? Of course. You walk to the center of the hall. His gaze fell on the teacup on the desk. You extend your right hand, pointing together like arrows, facing that teacup. He pointed into the air. No sound, no airflow, but in everyone's suddenly contracted pupils, you see that hard porcelain cup. The cup itself, a crack, as thin as a strand of hair, silently spread. Crack, a clear sound. The teacup was split in two. The cut is as smooth as a mirror. The entire hall was extremely silent. Your father's hand holding a teacup, hovering in midair. Li Weicheng's smile was on her face, completely frozen. Li Mu's pupils. It shrank to a pin's edge. If you talk about that iron wall during the day, it could also be a coincidence of the mechanism. So now, in front of everyone, barehanded, and lacked spiritual power, breaking the cup in the distance. This was beyond their understanding. All right. Elder Zhao suddenly slapped his forehead. He stood up excitedly. Her face glowed with a red glow. He rushes up to you. I circled you twice. It was as if he were looking at a rare treasure. By divine means, residence. Meaning, staring at you with burning intensity. Ancient texts record this, a great figure from ancient times, and devoted himself exclusively to cultivating divine intent. A single thought can move mountains and rivers, unexpectedly. Today, I saw it with my own eyes. He looks at you. His gaze was astonishing. Lin Yuan, are you willing to join my Tianfeng Martial Academy? In a word, everyone present was astonished. The threshold for Tianfeng Martial Academy is ridiculously high. Now, Elder Zhao actually took the initiative to invite a person like you, whose dantian was shattered. I am willing, you answered decisively. However, Elder Zhao spoke with a sharp tone. Rules are rules. Your situation is special. I'll just take you directly. Others do not accept it. How about this? He made the final decision. 3 days later, it is the final test for entering the 5th Academy. You go too, as long as it can pass. I, an old man, I firmly opposed the majority opinion. Exceptionally, you were allowed into the inner courtyard. 3 days later, that's more than the month your father gave you. Came even faster, more direct. Thank you, Elder Zhao. You are deeply affectionate. Ha ha ha. All right, I'll be waiting for you. Elder Zhao was in a great mood. He exchanged a few more polite words, so he left with the troubled Li Wei father and son, until they walked away. Your father finally sat down slowly, looking at you. His gaze was incredibly complicated. In the end, it turned into a long sigh. You've grown up. You return to your own courtyard, lock the door immediately. Without a moment's delay, you sit cross-legged. His mind sank into his mind. The pure origin sword heart awareness technique instantly flowed. The heart is as pure as the essence. A single thought produces 10,000 sword sounds. Follow the spell. He probed his spirit into that shattered Hongmeng Dao Si. Buzz, like a tiny spark, it ignited the entire grassland. The deathly silent Dao Si. The first reaction was made. Traces of chaotic aura, drawn out from the void. They do not follow the meridians. Instead, it directly seeps into your limbs and sees, merge into your soul. No burning heat, no pain. That feeling, just like the land of a drunkard. Spring rain has finally arrived. Your spirit. Then his face was washed over and over. The world is before you. It becomes incredibly clear. You can even hear it 100 meters away. The rustling sound of ants crawling over leaves. You can see the air. Dust tricks under the moonlight. Your world has been reshaped. Just one cultivation session. Your spiritual perception. A qualitative change occurred. The night passed without incident. Early the next morning. Open your eyes. A flash of golden light vanished. You stand up. He casually threw a punch. Phew. The whole wind was gloomy, with the sound of something breaking through the air. You can feel it clearly. Power, speed, reaction. They are all much better than yesterday. You walk up to the bookshelf, looking at those giant chi techniques that were once treasured as treasures. His gaze was calm. You packed them all up. He threw it into the deepest part of the family's abandoned library. Starting today, you and the past. Cut it all in half. Back in the yard. You pick up the wooden sword. Practice the Lin family's intra-level sword techniques. Still those basic moves. But the feeling is completely different. In your eyes, these moves turned into a series of attacks. Where did the force go wrong? Where is the angle off? Countless flaws and details of improvement clearly present in your mind. This was a profound insight into the swordsmanship. Begin to merge with you. You rehearse over and over again. Correction, an ordinary entry-level sword technique in your hands. It gradually exudes a sense of reversal and authenticity. Just then, the courtyard gate was knocked. A martial academy steward brought over a sword. Young Master Lin Yuan. Elder Zhao ordered me to deliver it. The final test materials 3 days later. You take the sword. Spiritual probe location. Beast Forest. Mission. Within the specified time. Collect a stalk of Ningxing grass. Return safely. Ningxing grass. Born in a place where demonic beasts gather. You pull yourself back. His gaze was unwaveringly resolute. 3 days pass in the blink of an eye. At the entrance to the 100-beast forest, crowds of people surged through. All the young people who had been in trouble gathered here. I wiped my palms all in a light garment. Carrying a wooden sword on his back, he quietly stood at the edge of the crowd. Like an outsider, your presence naturally caused a stir. Isn't that the spiritual abyss? Even if your dantian is broken, come back to enjoy the scenery, right? You turn a deaf ear to these gossip. Just then, a figure in brocade dressed surrounded by a crowd stopped before you. It's Li Mu. He's looking at you. His gaze was no longer simply disdainful. Instead, it was more inquisitive. He was silent for a moment. Finally, he spoke. The voice was not loud, but it was like a needle, piercing your ear with precision. I'm very curious. His gaze is from your face. It landed on the broken wooden sword behind you. An ordinary person without spiritual energy. How could they possibly be able to navigate this demon beast forest? Survive. Test. Let's get started. With a direct gaze, a command rang out. Over 100 figures shot into the forest like arrows. Spiritual energy flickered. Everyone wants to seize the initiative. Li Mu led the way. His figure flashed like lightning. Wherever he passed, the sound of demonic beasts and spiritual energy exploding was distant and distant. Transmission. There was also a hint of a demon beast. Soil moisture, the unique scent of dozens of plants, the footsteps of all the candidates, the sound of breathing. In your ears, they all become precise coordinates. 30 zhong to the left front. The three gathered. Spiritual power was unstable. There will surely be conflict. 50 zhong in front to the right. There is a swampy smell of decay. It's a trap. Directly ahead. The most people. They were eliminated the fastest. A living map of danger takes shape in your mind. A few seconds later, open your eyes, turn around. Without hesitation, you walk toward a single route. It looks like weeds are red, an unattended path. Enter the forest. It's like taking a walk in your own backyard. 3 leaves pierce me. There is danger and poison. Avoid it. The snake legs of the wire snake. Walk around it. The 100 trees in the sky, like a complete book. Let this perilous forest. In your eyes, it was like watching the music in the palm of your hand. Meanwhile, on the other side of the forest, Li Mu was full of vigor. Boom. A fanged wild boar comparable to the third layer of Great Chi. He was blasted away by a martyr's punch. Several large trees were smashed and broken. No wonder he's the son of Li Mu. The first flight belongs to him. Listening to the exclamations around him, Li Mu's lips curled into a smile. He enjoyed the feeling of crushing everything with absolute strength. You too. The other is like oil boiling in a blazing fire. The other is like clear water running deep, along a completely different path, toward the same goal. After the time it takes to burn an incense stick, you stop by a stream. You pick up a bit of wet mud, start condensing grass, joy tide, but the root does not cross the water. Too much sunlight, not here. Your gaze follows the stream, looking upstream. There, two mountain walls flank a middle-aged valley where sunlight never appears. Steam rises, gazing at them without restraint. That's the place. You set out immediately. However, just near the canyon entrance, a scent of discomfort hit him. On a piece of blue stone, a fist-sized emerald cicada bug was coiled there. Bumps all over her body. His aura was no weaker than a master who had reached the 7th or 8th level of chi gathering. Eyes closed, cicadas and insects, highly toxic, forcing your way in, and sought a dead end on his own. With your current body, even a single lick from it would be finished. This beast, clearly, it was the guardian beast of Ningxing grass. Just then, two candidates also discovered this place. Seeing cicadas, his face turned pale with fear. Hiding behind a tree, not daring to approach. It is the closed-eyed cicada insect. It's over. It's over. The star grass must be inside. You ignore them, your gaze quickly sweeping around. Fighting is always the last resort, really. Quick, you locked onto the upper stream of the stream, found the red grass with serrated leaves, and silently retreated. Detoring upstream, I picked a few red grass stalks and crushed them with stones. The dark green branches and leaves flowed out, emitting an extremely pungent prickly sting. You don't hesitate to drop all the branches and leaves into the stream, letting them flow downstream. In just a dozen breaths, you smack and go. Crack, the mouth of the canyon closed in a close-eyed entanglement, as if smelling the sky. The taste of natural enemies. He instantly became agitated. He suddenly jumped off the blue stone. He spat at the water suction in disgust. He let out a crunching sound. In the end, he really couldn't stand the smell. Bouncing and jumping around, escaping from his own lair, without bloodshed, far from those two roasted raw potatoes. Left utterly stunned, her mouth was wide open enough to fit an egg. That works too. You didn't care about their shock. Confirm the removal is far away. He calmly walked into the canyon. Inside the canyon, the lighting was dim. You didn't immediately go to find Ningxing Tsa, because a burst of extremely weak breath. Wu Ye's voice was filled with despair. It reached your ears. The voice was extremely soft. If it were someone else, they wouldn't be able to hear at all. Time is precious. You should have turned and left, but the helplessness in that black leaf sound, like a thorn piercing your heart. You hesitated for just 1 second. No matter what tests they face, a life lies before you. You can't just ignore it. You follow the sound, heading deeper into the canyon. In a corner of a rock wall, you see the source of the sound. A palm-sized snow-white fox cub, curled up on the ground, shivering with fear. A pair of sapphire-like eyes, filled with pain and pleading. His hind legs, covered by a delicate, enormous beast trap armor, getting worse and worse. The body reveals bones. His breath was beautiful. Your heart, suddenly, it sank deeply. The fox cub looks at you. There is no fear in his eyes. All I can do is pray. Looking into those eyes, you seem to see 3 years ago. That one was equally helpless, desperate self. You slowly squat down, reach out your hand. He whispered softly to the fox, "Don't be afraid. Let me help you." Cold steel, complex structure, covered with ditches and ditches. Your mental power is pushed to the limit. Every clip of the beast capture armor, every spring, everything becomes transparent in your mind. You didn't touch the cub. Instead, he reached out his finger. The core mechanism of the hunter. Creak. A harsh metallic grinding sound rang out. The young fox's body trembled violently. "Don't move." Your voice is gentle and firm. You pressed harder. Sharp metal edges cut your fingertips like a dull knife. Golden liquid spilled out, but you act as if you don't feel anything. In your world, only this annoying clip remains, and those eyes pleading for help. Finally, click, a crisp unlocking sound. Blessings like demonic fangs. It suddenly flicked away. It worked. You quickly withdrew your hand from the golden light plow. He carefully felt the young fox's legs. The fox cub regained its freedom, lying weakly on the ground. No escape. You tear off the cleanest corner of your undershirt, clumsily bandaging his wound. Finish all of this. You were just about to get up. The young fox actually dragged its injured leg over to the side, using the little tongue, gently licking your sweet, golden fingers, warm, moist. Your heart seemed to be touched. You smiled. She patted his little head. Go home quickly. The young fox gave you a deep look, limping away into the shadows, sending away the young fox. You suddenly wake up. Time. You look up at the sky. The sky was already dusk. The test of time. Almost there. Minching grass. Your heart tightened. He immediately rushed deeper into the canyon. However, you quickly realize something is wrong. Deep within the canyon, there are many forked paths. The air was thick with fearless miasma. It seriously interferes with your spiritual perception. You walked for a long time, but to his shock, he returned to where he started, a natural maze formation. Your heart, it gradually sank, saved the fox, but ended up losing herself. This time, the test, it seems he has completely failed. You don't regret it. The path of martial arts. If you can't even guard your true self, what is the point of practicing? Forget it. At worst, wait another year. You laugh at yourself, ready to give up. Just then, rustle, 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 a faint sound of footsteps, coming from the shadows behind you. You suddenly turn around. You think it's a demon beast, but the scene he saw, but it left you completely stunned. 1, 2, 3. There were more than a dozen foxes, their bodies completely white, silently appearing there. And at the very front of the fox pack, it was the fox cub you had scared me out, on its hind legs, and tied with the green cloth strip you tore off. It is facing you. It let out a crisp cry, filled with joy. Behind it, a huge adult white fox stepped out. Its eyes sparkled with the light of wisdom. Facing you, he actually believed it completely. Slowly lowering his noble head, it was a silent suffocation. You are living right now. The young fox ran over, rubbing against your pant leg. Then he turned around. He turned around and called out to you again. Follow me. You don't hesitate at all. He stepped forward and followed. You believe in this kindness. Led by the fox pack, the mud town seemed to lose its purpose. However, they didn't lead you to the exit. Instead, it stopped at a certain spot, in front of a hidden mountain wall covered in vines. The leading white fox pushed aside the vines, revealing a pitch-black cave, a dense breath of life that cannot be dissolved, rushing in from the cave. Yet now I turn my head again, looking at you expectantly. You take a deep breath. He walked in. The cave was not deep. The moment you step into the camera, you are completely stunned by the scene before you. In the center of the cave, a small blade of grass barely as tall as a pond. The whole body is crystal clear, like a willow branch carved from beautiful jade. It emitted a layer of visibly milky white jade. This is no ordinary star grass. Top-quality minching herb. Spiritual plant spirits were born. The memory of insight makes you understand instantly the value of this thing. It's thousands of times more than ordinary celebrity grass. It turns out, this is what it means to close one's eyes and cling to what truly protects it. You suppress your joy, facing the fox pack at the cave entrance. He bowed solemnly. Knowing this is their reward, you slowly reach out your hand. He reached out toward the supreme silverheart grass, right at your fingertips. The moment it touches that gentle, jade-like leaf, boom, an unimaginable source of life energy, following your fingertips. Suddenly, it surges into your body. Meanwhile, you help but ignore the unrewarded kindness. Pure kindness. It was as if this energy had completely ignited them. Your consciousness, once again, he was pulled into that boundless sea of Hongmeng Dao. This time, no longer sword-shaped statues. That pure kindness and overwhelming life energy, like a beam of light, it shone precisely on one of the 10 towering statues. It was a figure draped in beast skin, holding a white grass in hand, a statue with a compassionate face, dust of eternity, peeling away inch by inch. Those eyes tightly shut through endless years, slowly opened up. It was a pair of gentle ones, fast and vast, eyes full of compassion for all living beings. Just being watched by it, your soul seems to be gently brushed by the warmest spring breeze. A vast surge of intent, like spring breeze nurturing rain, slowly flowing into the depths of your consciousness. Doctors are the hearts of the people. All things have spirit. Your good thoughts, awakened Wu Ming, Shenlong, the people, calling me, I, Dundee. Your consciousness floats in this Hongmeng Dao Sea, boundless chaos. You stared in shock at the figure who had just awakened, a compassionate statue holding white grass. But before you can react, on the other side, on that solitary, peerless sword-shaped statue, the sword-like land was desolate and hollow, and also condensed into shape. 2 towering statues, 2 ancient emperors, in this shattered chaos, facing each other from afar. No words. Dundee looked at her with a gentle, compassionate gaze. He met the Sword Emperor's auspicious gaze. In just a moment, they were facing each other at the same time. Extremely mild, sweaty hands signaled, like two old friends separated by countless ages. Besides, it turns out, you're here too. This simple action, yet it stirs up a huge wave in your consciousness. Recognition. Unexpectedly, the first to wake up was you, old fellow. The Sword Emperor's earth-shaking voice rang out first, with a hint of teasing. I thought so. It will be that muscular brute. All things have their origins. The voice of the divine farmer of Dundee was gentle and jade-like, the kindness of a female, pure and flawless. This provoked Wu. Immediately, his gaze turned to you. A mild explanation. Did you know? The jade marrow calming herb in your hand. If he swallowed it outright, Shecheng had to run away with 70% of his strength, and wasted the natural resources of heaven. Your heart skipped a beat. Instinctively, he looked toward reality. The spirit herb he was holding. What should I do, Junior, Doctor? Following the timing of heaven, borrowing the earth's strength. The phantom of Dundee slowly raised its hand. Keep pointing at you. A gentle green glow, instantly merging into your consciousness. The three powers return to the sovereign. A mysterious herbal processing technique clearly imprinted in your mind. No need to be flexible alone. Borrowing 3 kinds of lush grasses as inspiration. This can lock in all the medicinal properties. It can even elevate the medicinal power to a new level. The transformation of yin just falls. Snake salty grass. 3 leaves are green. 3 unassuming plant images from Fashion Channel come to mind. The next second, your consciousness instantly returns to your original body. Open your eyes. The fox pack remained quietly guarding as before. The adult white fox leading the group, seeing with eyes full of wisdom. You bow respectfully once again toward the cave entrance. Then, without hesitation, he turned around. In the safe zone cleared by the fox pack that day, he quickly found those 3 types of lush grass. Back inside the cave, you take a deep breath. Close your eyes. The pure origin sword heart felt activated. His mental power was concentrated like never before. You moved. Fingers are no longer the sharp wind pointing at swords. Instead, it becomes gentle, rich in rhythm. Apply the branches and leaves of the snake-salted grass. Open the veins of Ningxing grass. Sprinkle with Sanyaking powder. A strange rhythm flows through my fingertips. Finally, the platform is wrapped with stone. His hands were dim. His spiritual power slowly seeped in like warm water. Hidden lock seal. For words, it feels as if it echoes from the depths of your soul. On the stone slab, that once dazzling jade-inscribed herb, all the smoothness actually converged inward at a speed visible to the naked eye. Disappear. A moment later, you take the stone and take the stage. Appear in your hands. It was a shriveled plant that looked shriveled. The color is dull. It was as if all spiritual weeds had lost their spirit. Yes, the pulse seemed even worse. A trace of doubt flashed through your mind. Dandiai's voice was tinged with laughter. It echoed in his mind. The great way is extremely simple. Returning to the true state. Now, 99% of his medicinal power was locked inside. The medicinal effects are better than before. It's more than 10 times stronger. Your heart is filled with joy, your mind and nature, and thus deserve this reward. Dandi's voice suddenly became solemn. Startled, passed down into the introduction to the Divine Farmer's 100 Herbal Classics. The grass was cut off. May you take this as your history, and recognize the spiritual things of heaven and earth, and carried out matters of saving lives and healing the wounded. Boom. A flood of information 100 times greater than before, suddenly rushing into your mind. Thousands upon thousands of kinds of medicinal herbs, poisonous weeds, spirit value graphics, medicinal properties, identification methods, like a brand, deeply integrated into your memory. Your brain is bleeding. Immediately, the whole world is in your perception. He had completely changed. You look out at the forest outside the cave. It's no longer just simple green, ironwood vine, non-toxic, a solitary serpent every 7 steps, highly toxic, green hornet grass. It can neutralize fire poison. The 100 Beasts forest, which was once fraught with danger, at this moment, in your eyes, it suddenly became a clear and obvious shape. The vast treasure everywhere. Medicine. The young fox easily ran over and rubbed against him. The leading white fox walks up to you. He opened his mouth and spat out a blood-white pill, scales emitting a fresh fragrance. It signals for you to accept it. You know, this is the token of the Fox clan. You didn't refuse. He bent down to pick it up. Many thanks for the grace of gold and jade. Ling Yuan inscribed. The white fox gave you a deep look. It emits a beeping sound. He then led the fox pack to retreat like a tide, blending into the shadows of the canyon. Guided by the aura they left behind, they began to speed through the forest. Meanwhile, at the exit of the 100 Beasts forest, the deadline is about to end. Most candidates have already left. Everyone was killed. He looked exhausted. Li Mu had already been waiting here. He was neatly dressed. He was playing with a top-grade star grass in his hand. He looked completely surprised. Elder Zhao of Tianfeng Martial Academy, holding the roster. Record the results. Time's up. The trial ended. With a shout of direct staring, the forest exit slowly closed. Elder Zhao glanced at the roster. He looked toward the empty exit. A trace of disappointment flashed in his eyes. A cold smile curled at the corner of Li Mu's mouth. As expected, it failed. Weak beings without spiritual power. Surviving is a miracle. However, just then, and so on. Elder, I'm here. A calm voice rang out. It came from the shadows beside the exit. Everyone turned around in shock. I saw you in a light robe. He walked out slowly. You look very disheveled, and the clothing was torn. His chest was still stained with dried golden energy marks. Clearly, they had fought hard. Most importantly, you have empty hands. Elder Zhao was the first to breathe a sigh of relief. Then I saw you like this. The disappointment in his eyes grew even deeper. Did you step on Ningxin grass? His voice was dry. Whispers filled the air. Look at him like this. It must have failed. Just being alive is already a blessing. What more do you want? Li Mu shook his head, completely lost interest. You ignored no one. Calmly walk up to the registration desk. Everyone was puzzled, in the gazes of sympathy or mockery. From the embrace, he slowly took out a plant. One is quite ordinary, without remarkable remarks. Some of the grass was even withered and yellow. No spiritual energy. There is no foreign land. Like weeds pulled up by the roadside. The entire venue fell into dead silence. The next second, a burst of uncontrollable laughter erupted. He brought a weed to report the matter. Are you confused? Is being an elder a blind person? Li Mu even laughed foolishly. I think this is truly a grand opportunity. Elder Zhao's expression also darkened completely. He feels you're playing with him. The trace of cherishing talent in his heart vanished completely. He frowned. He reached out to take the weed. I was going to throw it away already. However, the moment his fingertips touched the blade of grass, he was stunned. The feel is off. He instinctively dipped a trace of spiritual power into it. The next second, the displeasure on Elder Zhao's face instantly froze. He felt as if he had been struck by lightning. His body shuddered violently. Their eyes widened like they were pears. His lips trembled, with a completely distorted voice, screaming in shock. Yes, this is about abandoning and returning to the original place. How is that possible? The 4 words, abandon and return to the original place, mean. Like a thunderclap, it exploded in the arena. Most of the young men looked completely confused. However, the Lin family elders and city lord Li Wei were present. The moment he heard those 4 words, the expression on his face was even more striking than Elder Zhao's. It was a mix of disbelief, extremely shocked, and witness a legendary frenzy. Impossible. That is not just a legendary technique found only in ancient alchemical texts. An elder of the Lin family was trembling in voice. All those earlier laughter, at this moment, it seemed to turn into countless invisible hands. He slapped them hard in the face. It burned with pain. A foolish smile appeared on Li Mu's face. Already stiff, the medicinal energy returns to its source. Lock in the potent power at 100%. Its value is 100 times that of similar spiritual herbs. Only legendary alchemy masters could achieve this. I stepped on God with all my effort. In front of this weed, are the real weeds. I lost. This thought, like the sharpest sword. In an instant, all his pride was shattered. Elder Zhao took several deep breaths. Only then did he barely calm his emotions. He ignored everyone, just looking at you with an unprecedented central gaze. Follow me. He pulls you to a secluded corner. Lower your voice, he asked urgently. Speaking, where did this come from? How did you handle it? The existence of Dandi. It's your biggest secret. You already have a grudge in your heart. He replied calmly and without arrogance. Reporting back to the elders, this herb was found by chance. As for the handling method, this young man was deposed 3 years ago when his dantian was destroyed in the family's abandoned library. By chance, I came across a damaged ancient book with a damaged technique recorded. I was just giving it a try. Unexpectedly, it worked. This explanation, half true, half false. Elder Zhao's sharp gaze locked onto your eyes. You calmly meet his gaze. His gaze was clear. Not a single dodge. You are not lying. You just haven't told the whole truth. After more than 10 breaths, Elder Zhao's sharp gaze slowly turned into a long sigh. Alright, what a stroke of luck. Definitely worth a try. He didn't press further. He knew, you carry a huge secret, but so what? Compared to secrecy, he values you more when facing treasures. He still maintains this steady character. He raised the weed in his hand high, in front of everyone, announced loudly, "This substance is called Guyuan Ningxing grass. Its value far exceeds the total of all the Ningxing grasses tested this time. I announce, this time, the test, Ling Yuan has achieved the undisputed best result. Pass." Starting immediately, he was exceptionally admitted to Tianfeng 5th Hospital. Full-time trainee. Boom. The whole room erupted in an uproar. Optimal. Exceptionally admitted. 3 days ago, you are still a weakling, abandoned by your family. 3 days later, but you do so in a way no one can understand, ascending to heaven in a single step. Elder Zhao continued. Additionally, the Ling Yuan dantian is damaged. I already know this matter. Behind the foundation of my Tianfeng Martial Academy, I will personally find a way to repair his dantian. Before that, all his cultivation resources, I personally blend them all myself. These words, it left everyone stunned. It's not just about admission. This was basically treating him as a disciple of the Qing tradition. Your heart stirred. He immediately understood Elder Zhao's intention. He was using it this way. Find a way out for your inexplicable strength. At the same time, it is also a form of protection for you. Thank you, Elder Zhao. You are deeply reluctant. This kindness, you remembered it. The test has reached this point. The dust settled. You are preparing to leave, but a figure stopped you. It was Li Mu. There was no trace of history on his face. His gaze was complicated. There was a shock. There is unwillingness. But more often, it's a symptom of bullying rivals. He was silent for a moment. Finally, he spoke. The voice was clear and earnest. I lost. He made no excuses. Your suggestion, your opportunity, all of them are very interesting. Li Mu's gaze shifted between you and the wooden sword behind you. Pure fighting spirit ignited in his eyes. However, a test is just a test. Martial arts, it is an endless climb. Trouble at the Martial Academy. You can crush him. Before you can answer, Li Mu turned and left. His back was upright, like a spear. You look down at the jade pendant in your hand, which carries his body heat. That is the recognition of the proud man. Gold banks. You put the jade pendant away, looking toward the direction of Tianfeng Martial Academy. The bold spirit that had been dormant for 3 years, completely ignited. Just then, Elder Zhao walked over again. He shoved a bronze token engraved with the words Heavenly Wind into your hand. Little guy, your student token, also privileged tokens. He lowered his voice, like sharing a secret. With him, 3 floors in front of the library pavilion. Unlimited access to you. You can visit the pill pharmacy every month. Receive triple the cultivation resources extra. The farewell call is loud. This is the old man. Special rewards for the best. Triple the resources. The library is open to the public without restrictions. You hold this heavy token. A warm current welled up in his heart. You know it clearly. A brand new one. A heavenly road full of infinite possibilities, already beneath your feet, slowly unfolding. The next day, the heavenly wind is the 5th month. You declined the family's congratulations, ignoring the clinging of collateral branches. Alone, he had only made it deeper into the 5th courtyard. You have only one goal. Library pavilion. Stop. Freshmen can only be on the 1st floor. In front of the pagoda. 2 guards stopped you. You didn't speak. He simply calmly revealed the bronze token. The expressions of the 2 guards changed instantly. They exchanged a glance, instantly becoming respectful. It was Elder Zhao's special authority, and requested to enter. You can freely access floors 1 to 3. Your hands are slightly sweaty. He strode in. 1 floor. Life is ultimately ruined. All are fresh, and not a single eye glanced askew. Go straight upstairs. 2nd floor. The number of people sharply decreased. All are senior male roles. Your steps still didn't stop. 3rd floor. The noise completely vanished. The place was vast and silent. Only a handful of people remained. He was no different from an elite whose aura was unsettled and the moon had arrived. Your arrival, it caught their attention, but seeing you so young, it was just a quick glance. So he ignored it. However, your next move. But this left everyone confused. You walk motionlessly through those most radiant techniques. Sword Chi Zone. He ignored those foresights radiating spiritual energy. You keep moving forward. In the end, they stopped in the most secluded spot on the entire 3rd floor. The least cared for. Corners covered in dust. The label on the bookshelf reads, Miscellaneous studies, a general history of mainland China, illustrations of strange beasts, Lanjiang geography. The formation was just beginning to be unraveled. General principles of qi refining among those elite trainees, in the late discussions of wasting resources, in your eyes, but it shone with an unprecedented brilliance. For you today, the spiritual energy cultivation method was already a narrow path. Insight and the gifts of Dundee let you understand true strength. It was never limited to the amount of spiritual energy, formation, history, geography, human hearts. These, isn't it also a recommended medicine in your hands? You are like a dried up sponge. I plunged headfirst into this sea of cheese. Just then, a figure, silently standing before you, shadows beneath the head. It blocks the light on your pages. You lift your head. It was Li Mu. He frowned. Her eyes were filled with confusion and a hint of regret. I thought, you will seek out even stronger sword Dao classics. His voice was low. You bear sword intent. Why here? Wasting time. The formation in your monk's hand draws the sword. She looked at him calmly. He retorted, Brother Li, what do you think? It is even stronger to become an indestructible sword, or become someone who knows when and where. How the swordsman draws his sword. Stronger. Li Mu straightened up. He then said proudly, what are the differences? When a single sword can cut through mountains and rivers, no time or place is meaningless anymore. Ultimate power. This is the ultimate truth. Really? You smiled. In the forest of all beasts, that closed-eyed cicada insect, comparable to the 8th level of giant qi. Can it be considered a sharp sword? Li Mu's eyebrows furrowed slightly. He nodded. I didn't play against him. You're calm. I only used the spicy herb liquid he despises, and mingled into the stream. He was forced to leave. My strength is not as strong as his, but my knowledge, it became my sword, without shedding blood. You pick up the formation in your hand and draw your sword. A sand formation. It can trap ordinary people and your pulse neck expert. Formation. Is it a sword? You need to pick up the comprehensive history of the continent. History. Able to perceive people's hearts, and anticipated the situation in advance. People's hearts and the situation of the times. Is it a sword? You look at the reflection that falls into deep thought because of your words. His gaze was clear and resolute. He spoke each word clearly. My dantian is 1 year old, unable to be like you. He forged himself into a massive sword with no boundless blade. So, I chose another path. I will take all things in heaven and earth, the sun, moon, and stars, historical dust, and the people's hearts are deceitful and sophistry. All become my sword, my way, not becoming a sword, rather, and wielded 10,000 swords. Boom. These words, like a thunderclap, a thunderous explosion erupted in Li Mu's mind, and wielded 10,000 swords. How magnificent this is, arrogant, yet it is so captivating and unappealing. He has always strived to become stronger, but it broke out of this framework, standing on a higher dimension, trying to make use of everything in the world for oneself. Li Mu fell silent. After a long while, he took a deep breath, respectfully addressing people. Slightly sweaty hands. Learned a lot. No more words were said. Li Mu turned and left. You resolved this little turmoil. Once again, I immersed my mind in the sea of books. Very soon, you found a damaged formation manual, a solitary copy gathered in ruins. 1 page of the broken formation diagram, completely captivating. It was a formation diagram about energy guidance, extremely exquisite, but no matter how you try to deduce it, energy flows to the final step, will collapse because of a very contradictory node. It was as if the designer had deliberately left an unsolvable knot. No, it is incorrect. The design is so ingenious. There's no way they'll leave a dead knot at the end. You will take this broken formation diagram. Every rune, every line, were firmly engraved in his mind. Career, your little courtyard. You sit cross-legged, yet he was unable to enter meditation for a long time. That broken formation diagram, it lingers in your mind like a spell. Contradictory. Why is it a contradiction? You keep pondering it in your mind over and over, and failed again and again. Unconsciously, your mind, instinctively, he sank into that boundless chaotic space. Hongmeng reaches the sea. Here, your mind becomes incredibly clear. You compare yourself to mental strength. Ending with emptiness, he began to draw stroke by stroke, replicating that broken formation. You are fully focused. All his attention was devoted to resolving that contradictory knot. You start trying to modify runes, change the route, combine your understanding of formations, clear them all out. You don't notice it. It's because you're fully focused, trying to rely on his own strength to complete the gap, to define a moment of rule, at the deepest part of your sea of consciousness. Among those 10 ancient statues, The third statue. The figure held the compass in one hand. One hand held the seal. It seemed as if the statue that ruled the order of heaven and earth was atop it, a speck of dust that has been attached for countless millennia. Suddenly, it trembled gently. It was late at night. All is silent. You hold that tattered record of the broken formation. He quickly slipped back to his own courtyard. He sat cross-legged. Close your eyes, pretending to be cultivating in the middle of it. In fact, in your sea of consciousness, a storm is brewing. Here, you are God, a little person exactly like you, suspended in endless chaos. Right in front of you, a glowing three-dimensional array diagram. It is slowly spinning. This is the thing. Tormented you all day. No, it is incorrect. Hold out your finger for you. He lightly pointed at the formation diagram. Spiritual power poured in like a stream. Following the dozen or so rooms, they flowed rapidly. Everything looked so perfect. However, just as energy surged toward the final node, buzz. The entire formation diagram suddenly shook. Flashes of light. That energy was like a blue ball crashing into tempered glass. Instantly lost control. Violent. Finally, at that contradictory juncture, with a boom, it exploded into countless light spots. Failed again. You muttered to yourself. There was not a trace of discouragement on his face. Only deeper confusion remains. Number 1364. That tricky juncture. Energy must move both left and right at the same time. This completely violates the iron law of one-way energy flow. It's a deadlock. Oh my god, what was the designer thinking? Isn't this basically causing one person to go east and west at the same time? You complain silently in your heart, but he had no intention of giving up. Your intuition tells you, within this formation lies a brand new world. As long as you break through that window, your formation level will ascend directly on the spot. Forgot the time, forgetting everything outside. Your spirit is more focused than ever before, condensed into a beam of light, fixated on the spinning creature. Collapse. Sweeping across the sword ground, Jian Yi trembled slightly. There was no movement. Sweeping across the cinnabar ground, the vitality is gently the same. It also returns to silence. In the end, this dawn, it landed on the hand holding the compass. It was as if atop a statue that controlled heaven and earth. It was at this moment. No one knows how many millennia of dust has been stuck there. It shook again. Immediately after, a voice that seemed to come from the upper reaches of the river of time. It rings right in your head. Heaven and earth are truly extraordinary. All living beings are like children. This kid, he was actually groping for his own origin. The sound was very soft, yet he carried an air of dominance that saw through the laws of all things. Your deduction is instantly interrupted. He suddenly looked up at the source of the voice. The next second, an unimaginably massive flow of information, like the Milky Way crashing down from the sky. It doesn't give you any reaction time at all. It instantly fills your mind. Boom. Your whole body is trembling. That stream of information doesn't teach you how to break it, nor was any specific certificate given to him. It only gave you 8 words. Yin and Yang are balanced. Leveraging spatial power. 8 words, like 8 bolts of heavenly thunder, explode in your mind. All the painless deaths I couldn't figure out before. It was instantly leveled to the ground. I understood. Ha ha ha. You laugh wildly, like someone who has lost their mind. I was wrong, completely wrong. The foundation of the formation is not lines or runes at all. This matter, it's a matter of flow. That node, it's not about energy splitting. Instead, it is about 2 completely opposite things. Balance things out here. 1 yin, 1 yang. Advancing and retreating. Mutual support is required. It is not a floor plan. This is a 4-dimensional spatial formation. It's first suddenly brightened before you, like someone lying on the ground. Elementary school students solving linear equations in 2 variables. And the teacher who set the questions. I've been watching you smile in 4-dimensional space for a long time. With your sudden enlightenment, the middle-aged Daoist's gaze was as deep as the starry sky, ethereal, slowly appearing. He looks at you. There was a hint of admiration in his eyes. Not bad. Being able to grasp the threshold of things on their own. Even among billions, you can't stand out a few steps. He spoke slowly. Sound naturally carries a constant rhythm. No name. Heaven and earth. The people. Calling me. I. Position. Another land. Your heart trembles. He quickly bowed and saluted. The younger generation stands by the abyss. Greetings to the senior at the front line. Battlefield Shinkuan nodded slightly. It was as if his gaze saw through everything about you, including your broken dantian. Swordsmanship, it's about breaking the rules. Dan said, this is adapting to the vitality. And my formation path, it's about using the rules. Shake the heavens and earth. You remember, all things have their affairs. The stone fell. This is a matter of gravity. The river water rushed swiftly. This is the matter of flowing water. The mountains and rivers rise and fall. This is the earth vein dragon style. Even a person's luck is good or bad. The rise and fall of a dynasty. All are matters of fate. Comprehend and settle the matter. You can transform the world. Formation. It will no longer be rooms or materials. Every blade of grass and every tree. Just one sentence from you. One action. Can form formations. These words, it opens a brand new door for you. Insight teaches you breakthroughs. Single-mindedness teaches you to create. And this position, then I'll teach you how to control it. Go ahead, with your new eyes. Re-examine the world. As soon as the phantom of the position finished speaking, slowly disappearing, he transformed back into that statue. Your consciousness, receding back to the body like a tide. In the Pew chamber, you suddenly open your eyes, passing the time. The whole world is in your eyes. It has completely changed. You look at your own room, a table full of benches, no longer lifeless. You can see it clearly. The table blocked the beam of moonlight streaming in. The bed was pressed right against a wisp of dampness seeping out from underground. These things, it forms a low-quality system, but it does affect your aura formation. So that's how it is. No wonder this room always felt a bit stuffy. Turns out everything was going wrong. You understand in your heart. You stand up. He walked over to the table. He just ground the chair half a foot to the left. Just this half foot. It was as if a crucial ruler had been struck. The blocked light and the wind slipping in through the door intertwined. A small cyclone forms. It instantly energizes the entire room's aura. He even washed away the dampness underground. Buzz, you feel it clearly. The air in the whole room is fresh. Fresh. That's it. He found that the place was packed with people. Noisy and noisy. In the center of the cultivation flat, a small giant spirit formation was completely faint. A mentor was leading several formation apprentices, surrounding the core of the formation. Everyone wore worried expressions. No, mentor, the core circuit is completely in chaos. It can't be fixed, an apprentice said, wiping his sweat. The mentor squatted down and examined for a long time. In the end, he could only shake his head and stand up. His face was full of regret. Ah, what a pity. Last stopped at the underground cave. Even if the core was just a little tripped, what leads to the entire energy is complete chaos. Mentor, the students also know a bit about formation. Can I give it a try? Whoosh, in an instant, everyone's gaze, all of it pierced into you. It was him, Lin Yuan. That dantian shattered, a freshman who got in by luck. After a brief silence, the crowd erupted in excitement. He must be confused. That was the giant spirit formation. Even the mentors couldn't do anything. Why is he, a freshman, pretending to be a big sucker? Understand a little. Does he know what he's talking about? Causing a stir among the crowd and promising favor. Trying to steal the spotlight. He was obsessed. Those few formation apprentices, it was as if he'd just heard the biggest joke. His face was full of ridicule. The guardian of the law suppression frowned deeply. Seeing it is you, the displeasure on his face grew even stronger. He was about to scold you for being reckless. But suddenly, Elder Zhao's stern face flashed through his mind. This child is special. Don't judge him by common sense. Words on the tip of the tongue. He swallowed it back by force. He sized you up and down. His eyes were full of doubt. Finally, he waved his hand helplessly. Forget it. Anyway, it was going to be demolished. If you want to try, then don't you? If it can be fixed. He paused, told in a joking tone. All the credit rewards for Zhenfa Hall this month. It's all yours. As soon as these words were spoken, the apprentices' eyes turned red, but they are just left throwers, because they are 100% sure. You won't get a single word. Thank you, mentor. You ignored the onlookers around you. He walked straight into the center of the deathly silent formation. You didn't act immediately. Instead, He slowly closed his eyes. The noise outside vanished in an instant. You ask directly in your sea of consciousness. Senior, this formation is problematic. Is it just like I see? The shadow of the position appeared again. The voice echoes in your mind. Not bad. The cave didn't shatter the rock. It disrupted the power of the earth veins here. The original circuit of the formation, clashing with the current terrain. So he was poisoned. Just like a person's bones are misaligned. The meridians are damaged. Pointing to the position. In the void, the entire formation and the mountainside terrain map were sketched. Others cultivated, and was able to beat the drum again and join again. And you just need to go with the flow. Just beat it to the drum. Look, the third cornerstone in the southeast corner, the cold current beneath it. It was directly opposing the formation of the giant fire. You turn it 36 degrees. It can attract cold currents to serve as a wall. Lock the fire, and the formation core to the north. It deflected the will of the moonlight's falling lunar force. Move it half an inch to the east. He could draw upon the power of the moon. Nourish the formation core. The position was briefly explained. I'll explain Bingyin and the therapy to you in detail. Outside, under everyone's gaze as if they were fools. You moved. You didn't bring any tools. He didn't use a single spirit stone. You just walked to the southeast corner of the formation. He bent down and picked up a piece of blue stone weighing several hundred jin. What is he doing? Brick moving. Is this cultivating formations or doing hard labor? Amidst a burst of laughter, you slowly lift the foundation stone, at an extremely tiny angle. Turn inward. No measurements. Clumsy, but in the eyes of that formation mentor. But gradually the flavor changed. The impatience on his face disappeared. It turned serious. Then came the shock. Finally, I saw something unbelievable. It's just as harmful, because he discovered, every move you make, everything landed precisely. Formation energy circuit. At the most critical moments, those places, a hair's breadth of error, the entire formation would be completely exposed. But it felt like she was in her own backyard, like fiddling with a flower pot. Casual yet precise. He is not fixing. He is enlightening. He was handling the entire formation. He had already brushed the dust off his hands. It's done. The entire venue fell into dead silence. Everyone looked at him as if he were a monster. That's it. It's over. Move a few stones. Kick the stone slab. He wanted to complete a giant spirit formation. HMPH. I thought there was some earth-shattering trick. It turned out to be a show of supernatural charm. An apprentice chuckled. However, his laughter, it lasted only half a second. Buzz. A faint sound. It felt as if it was coming from the depths of the earth. It rang out from the core of the formation. Immediately after, in everyone's pupils suddenly contracting, that extinguished giant spirit formation, the very central earthquake eye. A faint white light lit up. The light rippled like water. Following those dim formation patterns, it spread rapidly in all directions. One piece, 2 items, 100 items. One array pattern after another was lit up, like dragons awakening from sleep. He came back to life. Phew. A massive suction force erupted from the center of the formation. The surrounding spiritual energy of heaven and earth, like soldiers receiving orders, it transformed into a visible white stream, from all directions, surging widely toward the center of the formation. A massive vortex of spiritual energy, above the training pavilion, slowly taking shape. The formation has been reactivated, and it runs more smoothly than before. Rounder, it is filled with a natural and harmonious aesthetic. Oh my god, really? It's fixed. How is this possible? He just carried a few stones. The onlookers were completely ensued. Everyone's face was filled with fanaticism and disbelief. Those formation apprentices who mocked you before. At this moment, her mouth was wide open enough to fit an egg. His face was as good as pork liver. It felt like he'd been slapped countless times in public. No, that's not right. That formation mentor. It was as if he had witnessed a miracle. He suddenly rushed to the edge of the formation, shakily pulled out a spirit testing plate. He aimed at the core of the formation. The next second, the needle on the spirit detection disc spun rapidly. In the end, it stopped at a scale that made his eyes pop out. He stared intently at that scale. Her lips trembled. Using a completely blown out, the voice changed its key, screaming in shock. Spirit gathering efficiency is higher than before it broke. That's a full 30% higher. He hadn't repaired the formation. He had upgraded the formation, turning stone into gold. This is truly turning stone into gold. Comfort. If restarting the formation is a miracle, that advisor's words, It's a miracle. All the eyes looking at you. It has completely changed. It's no longer about watching a new student. No longer just looking at a pitiful person whose dantian is shattered. It was a kind of longing. It is the unknown, to mystery, a reverence for extraordinary power. Your name, at this moment, and a new title. They were tightly bound together, a genius in various fields. Just as the whole audience was still immersed in this massive shock, a loud voice rang out. Through the amplification array, the sound of the heavenly wind echoed throughout May. Released the first training task for new students. Location, Black Mist Valley. Content, and penetrated deep into the valley. Drawing maps, hard foot out a demonized creature. Form, a team of 5. 3-team formation. 3 days later, assemble at the task hall. Once this task was released, the new generation of students was in an uproar. Black Mist Valley. That place is notoriously dangerous. Going in feels like being half blind. Even the old students didn't dare to barge in casually. Team tasks. This is a disaster, isn't that right? Who wouldn't want to team up with a big shot like Li Mu? Who would want ordinary people like us? On the cultivation screen, to the students who were just amazed by your miraculous power, instantly pulled back to reality. Countless gazes, once again, intentionally or unintentionally, they drift toward you. His gaze was complicated, curious. There is an inquiry, but even more so, it was alienation. Your formation is formidable, but what Black Mist Valley needs is real combat power. You're just a weakling with your dantian shattered. Encountering a monster, besides holding back the legs, it can also play numbness. God-level support, still super accurate. This is the question, hanging in everyone's heart. You don't care at all. He was about to go to the mission hall alone to take a look. Just then, a crisp voice sounds right in front of you. Student Lin Yuan, can we talk? You lift your head. He was a sharp young man with a high ponytail. Qin Yu, one of the few ordinary geniuses in his heart. 3 young men followed behind him. Each of them felt uneasy. If you have something to ask, just ask. Qin Yu took a deep breath. Just your eyes. Get straight to the point. I'd like to invite you to join our team. As soon as these words were spoken, everyone was shocked. Are you confused? Invite Ling Yuan. Isn't this just actively bringing a thunder array? Qin Yu. Behind him, a burly young man named Wang who squeezed in. You've thought it through. That was Black Mist Valley. Qin Yu ignored him, just staring at you, waiting for your answer. Why? You ask in return. Because I saw it. The sound of the piano music is very clear. When you correct the law, it's not about brute force. It's about adjusting during the adjustment. You are using the least strength. Leverage a big rule. Black Mist Valley is such a cursed place. Compared to a brute, I trust someone who understands the rules more. Wang Hu opened his mouth. Not a single word came out. A trace of approval flashed in your eyes. This girl is quite interesting. All right, I'll join. You nod in agreement. 3 days later, as soon as Black Mist Valley stepped into the valley entrance, cold and damp, a heavy scent washed over him. Thick black mist. Visibility was compressed to less than 10 meters. My spirit stones were suppressed to the point where I could only sense 3 meters. The scout in the team, Sun Fei, his face turned pale. Me too. Wang Hu gripped his knife tightly, his face full of caution. They had all become half blind and deaf, yet you remain calm and composed. You just close your eyes, when their perception is infinitely compressed, but your world is clearer than ever before. Within 100 meters, everything flows. It was as if they had opened their all-knowing eyes. A picture forms in your mind, a constantly updated 3D map. 20 meters ahead to the left, underground, there was a deathly silence. It's a trap swamp. The right side withered. Tree. But he did not submit. He could only keep up. Passing by that withered tree, a dark shadow lunged at Li Jing at the opposite end like lightning. It was a demonized wildcat. Be careful. Wang Hu embraced he. He turned to save him, but it was already too late. At this critical moment, your calm voice sounded half a second earlier. Li Jing, step left. He drew his sword and stabbed straight at him. Li Jing didn't have time to think. My body instinctively took a look to the left, pouncing on the food. The shadow missed his original position, and the sword he thrust out, but from a strange angle. It struck the demonized wildcat's neck precisely from the side. The lynx didn't even have time to scream. He crashed heavily to the ground. Pull out a few times. Fallen. The entire venue fell into dead silence. Li Jing stared blankly at her sword, which was still dripping with light. My mind went blank. Wang Hu's knife was half raised. It will be halfway through the sky. He stares intently at your back. His eyes were filled with disbelief and shock. This guy, is it a monster? For the first time, he began to doubt himself. Don't just zone out, handling the wreckage. Keep going. Your voice pulls them back to reality. The road ahead, in your full knowledge, you will only think. This team seemed to have divine assistance. He narrowly avoided the danger. All unnecessary fights. Easily completed the task targets. Wang Hu looked at you. He had never submitted. It turned into awe. Lin Yuan and his brothers. How on earth is this brain developed? Even more accurate than a live map. He sincerely admired her. You just smiled. However, as you go deeper, Qin Yu sensed something was wrong. Lin Yuan, this house, isn't it even more intense than the intelligence reports? He frowned. My heart is filled with worry. My compass pointer started spinning around aimlessly. You also stopped in your tracks. For the first time, his brows furrowed tightly. In your perception, a crying cry out loud, like an awl, pierced hard into your ear. So, your gaze, just like everyone else, he was firmly fixed to the positioning gong in his hand. The magnetic needle lost control, like a spinning top out of control, buzzing, spinning wildly, a chilling coldness, along your spine, climbing all the way up to the crown of the head. Wang Hu instinctively gripped the machete tightly. Look around. However, wherever one can see, all were black rocks and withered heads copied and pasted together. The thick fog was like a wall. Take all of you. The end is simply exhaustion, mental breakdown. In the end, it becomes the typical beast. Despair. The foulness of the nose remains thick. Don't panic. We rushed in one direction, always able to break through. Wang Hu growled with red eyes. Clearly, he had reached his limit. No, it is not allowed. Qin Yu immediately vetoed it. Blindly, recklessly only leads to faster defeat. Quarrels and panic. It began to spread like a virus. Just then, Lin Yuan, he spoke. Everyone stays calm. Your voice isn't loud, but it was like a block of ice. All anxiety was instantly frozen away. You stand at the very front of the line. His silhouette was somewhat thin in the mist, but that position, all focused on you. It's very strange. You clearly can't use your spiritual power, nor does it have any presence. But it was just a matter of course. Your steadiness remains unchanged even when Mount Tai collapses before you. Through eye contact and tone, it forcibly extinguished the evil fire in their hearts called fear. Wang Hu's breathing calmed. Li Jing stopped trembling. Qin Yu looked at you. A glimmer of surprise flashed in his bright eyes. She realized, your composure, it is a force in itself. You didn't say more. He simply closed his eyes slowly. In an instant, all the noise outside, retreat in your perception, your mind. A chilling atmosphere, all intertwined into one unity. Chaotic magnetic field dynamics. They conflict with each other. Distortion, forming a single piece, a natural cage of rules. So that's how it is. It's not a smoke screen. It is a paradrive at the rule level. Your consciousness is there, navigating countless chaotic currents, like the top-tier formation breaker, searching for this system. The only loophole, any formation, as long as it is a collection of momentum, there is a dead end. There must also be a way to live. Very soon, you see it, amid countless frenzied hedges, where the currents converge, there exists an extremely tiny one. I'm leaving. Qin Yu's heart skipped a beat. He looks into your deep, confident eyes. There was not a trace of hesitation. Reason told him it was a high-stakes gamble, but my intuition was screaming wildly. Trust him. All right. Qin Yu didn't hesitate at all, nodding firmly. The entire team followed Lin Yuan's command. Wang Hu opened his mouth. In the end, the doubts were suppressed. At this point, except for trusting you, remarkable person, no other choice. Left front, 37 paces. One step cannot be taken too much. Not a single step can be missed. Your voice is clear and decisive. You take the lead. Qin Yu followed closely behind. Immediately after, sometimes it turns right, even retreating. In Wang Hu's eyes, this is pure nonsense. But in reality, in your vision of dementia, every step you take, they precisely hit the weakest points in the rules, skillfully avoiding the core of all conflicts. You all, along that invisible creature, walk outward. After about the time it takes to burn an incense stick, you suddenly stopped in your tracks. Stop. You look ahead at the still thick fog ahead. He spoke calmly. Run straight ahead. Don't stop. Everyone felt a surge of clarity. A word moves forward. 1 step, 2 steps. Just as they took the 5th step, sprawled on the ground, Wang Hu's face looked like he had just survived a disaster. When I look at your back, his eyes were filled only with utter awe. However, before they could even rejoice, Qing Yu cried out in surprise. It made everyone's hearts tangled once again. So, what is that? Everyone looked in the direction she pointed. The smile on his face froze instantly. Right in front of them, it was a vast ancient ruin, with broken arms and ruined walls, a massive surge like a thorn, and it was in the middle of the ruins. A broken stone platform stood prominently, the proud patterns on it. It exudes a chillingly ancient aura, a forgotten ancient hymn formation. At that very moment, your pupils suddenly locked shut. Your mental strength caught a glimpse of something that didn't belong here. What I realized is, who? You suddenly turn your head, looking toward the shadows deep within the ruins. Who is this? You're calling out. Like a sudden thunderclap, Qin Yu and the others were startled. Follow your gaze. Kill it. Kill it. 5 figures shrouded beneath the black robe, slowly stepping out from the shadows. The leader had his face pitch black, only a pair of eyes glowing with worry, like ghost fire, coldly sweeping over you. The little guy from Tianfeng Martial Academy. A hoarse voice sounded, piercing and cold. Seeing something you shouldn't have. So I stayed. Let it be the nourishment for this ruin. The shadow is destroyed. A spiritual spark in your heart. Strike. The leader in black was too lazy to say more. The 4 people behind him instantly scattered. He precisely stood at the 5 key positions of the teleportation array, using shadows as a measure, using the source as the medium. A strange incantation sounded. Visible black currents emanated from their bodies, like a dragon stripe drilling into a stone platform. Buzz. The entire teleportation array was forcibly ignited. Ancient runes glowed with ominous dark red light. They were using dark magic to activate the teleportation array. Qing Yue's face turned deathly pale. Stop them. Wang Hu roared angrily, raising his knife to save the reward. But just as he took a step forward, the sound changed to a trembling voice. Boom. On both sides of the teleportation array, 2 stone statues holding swords, each 3 meters tall, guarded by swords. The surface stone skin suddenly shattered. 2 pairs of star-red points of light. Suddenly, a light lit up in the eye sockets of the stone statue. They moved. A shocking pressure comparable to the peak of dramatic energy. It crashed down like a mountain rainbow. It's over. Sun Fei's legs went weak, collapsed to the ground. In front are puppets. Behind them are wicked men. This is a true skill. However, at this critical moment, you have entered the sea with Hongmeng. The sound of the phantom on the position rang out, cold and direct. Foolish. This is a simplified version of the Qianquan teleportation array. The core is to go with the flow. They use reverse evil magic to force the attack. It only brings trouble upon oneself. The core remains intact. You can use strength against it. Reverse guidance. These few words, like a bolt of lightning, instantly lights up your mind. You suddenly lift. Head. All right. Qin Yu gritted her teeth to meet the challenge. The first response. He chose luck. All right. Wang Hu was also inspired to fight, roaring as he charged at a stone statue. You're not watching. His whole presence was like a sword released from a bowstring, stopped and charged toward the core of the corroding teleportation array. 9 knights. Wang Hu's blade struck the puppet's leg, sending off a huge spark, but he was swept away by an arrow. Energy leakage. 8 knights. Qin Yu and Li Jing joined their swords together, desperately delaying the foot of another puppet. The men in black let out a relentless, cold snort. Like a mantis blocking a chariot, they sped up the screening. The red light at the core of the teleportation array grew increasingly dazzling. A devastating spatial fluctuation is about to take shape. 5 inhales. Your figure weaves through countless array patterns. His eyes went straight to the source of rules. The key to breaking the deadlock. Right there was a place covered by rubble. Inconspicuous grooves. That was the drain of the entire formation. 3 suctions. You have rushed to the core. You don't even use your hands. You just lift your foot, at the fist-sized piece of rubble at his feet. It seems casual. A gentle kick. Whoosh. That piece of rubble. He traced a parabolic arc with extreme precision. A single line. In the moment no one could react. The rubble cracked with a loud crack. Impartial and unbiased. It was precisely embedded in that groove. It was this kick, as if riding in a rushing torrent. The monkey swallowed a stone that could turn the tide. Buzz. The entire teleportation array emitted a piercing scream. The dark red fell energy that had been forcibly guided, at the moment they reached the core, crashed into an invisible wall. Then the sudden appearance of the flood outlet. He frantically guided the path in the opposite direction. Energy. He lost control on the spot. Plop. The 5 men in black were struck as if by lightning. They all spat out a mouthful of dim origin. They channel evil energy, 100 times the power of being suppressed. It fiercely backlashed back. Not good. Retreat quickly. The leader of the men in black let out a terrified scream. Good night. Rumble. The entire teleportation array erupted with a dazzling white light. The raging spatial energy transformed into silver electric tongues. It rampaged wildly in all directions. The 2 stone statue puppets lost their energy sources. Red light flashed wildly in his eyes. Chaos erupted instantly. Begin attacking everything around you indiscriminately. Hurry up and go. You grabbed the fallen Wang Hu up. He shouted at the others. This once-in-a-lifetime chaos. It is your only chance to live. Qin Yu and the others seemed to wake from a dream. Following you, I frantically flee toward the path I came. Just before turning away, at the very last moment, the corner of your eye caught sight of the core of the teleportation array. There was a piece of dark gold metal about the size of a fingernail. It was shaken out, something like that. You lean forward and rush forward. He scooped it up and put it into his hand. The moment you get it, a force shares the same root and origin as the 10 statues in your Hongmeng Deep Sea. An ancient aura of utterly tragic desolation, along the palm. Suddenly, it floods your mind. Taking advantage of the teleportation array's energy rampage, the puppets and shadows of the time also restrain each other in a chaotic state. You lead your teammates out of the ruins without looking back, running wildly all the way, until they completely left the range of Black Mist Valley. Survivor of the disaster, but the atmosphere was unusually silent. Wang Hu, Li Jing, Sun Fei and the other 3. Look into your eyes. Only awe and confusion remained. Thank you. Thank you. Qin Yu walked over to your side. He spoke with utmost solemnity. You just shake your head slightly. His right hand tightly gripped the scorching metal fragment in his sleeve. The group returned to the academy as fast as they could. He stopped and rushed toward the Elders' Council Hall. After Elder Zhao listened to Qin Yu's rambling description, his once imposing face completely darkened. The shadow is destroyed. In ancient times, the formation was praised in praise. Stone statue puppet. Every word made his gaze grow even more serious. Able to come back alive is the greatest achievement. Elder Zhao's gaze swept over everyone. Finally, it settles on you. His gaze was complicated. This matter. I will report this to the head of the academy immediately. From now on, observations from Black-Owen Valley. Not a single word was allowed to be said outside. He waved his hand grandly. Heiwugu was immediately designated as a forbidden zone. Your mission. All of them are in the best season. All rewards, and tripling the price. Handle everything. Elder Zhao stayed behind alone. The kick you kicked. He stares at you. His voice was very low. And which lousy book did I read about it from? Your heart stirred. A perfectly balanced look of confusion and hope appeared on his face. Reporting back to the elders. At the time, I just thought the pit was really annoying. Instinctively, I really didn't expect to reply. Elder Zhao gave you a deep look. In the end, it turned into a long sigh. He knows you never speak the truth. But so what? Go ahead. Remember, sometimes, too much is known. Not a good thing. I understand. You bow respectfully. You will lose consciousness and listen. Night, deep as water. In quiet observation, you sit cross-legged. His mind sank into the Hongmeng Dao Sea. You spread your hands. The consciousness carefully held the dark golden fragment. Just then, a trembling sound. Buzz. A voice filled with utter sorrow. It was like a lament that spanned the ages. Suddenly, it burst out from the fragments, echoing throughout the chaotic space. His wailing carried a sense of unyielding to death. The overwhelming battle clouds raged until the very last moment. The 3 statues of Sword Ground, Dan Ground, and Position Ground all shook their power in unison. It was as if mourning a fallen comrade. However, the strongest reaction was on the 4th one, a giant statue always covered in heavy dust. Crack, crack, the eternal dust covering him, hardened and cracked. Large patches peeled off. A figure wielding a giant hammer. His imposing figure was as majestic as the mountain moon, slowly condensing and taking shape. It was a burly man with a resolute face. He stared straight at the fragment that had not cried out. Within the tiger's eye, a trace of deep sorrow was revealed on his face. A long, lingering sigh. The sound echoed throughout the entire Dao Sea. It was the aura of Po Jun. my old buddy. In the end, it's still shattered. He slowly turns his head to look at you. That immense sense of oppression make your consciousness tremble. No name, Lu Ban. This is the person calling me I, and was about to become emperor. The fourth emperor. You are utterly shaken. He hurriedly grabbed his luggage. The younger generation faces grievances. Greetings to the senior emperor Jiang. The surrendered emperor Lu Ban was sweating lightly. The voice was low and hoarse. This is the life-bound divine weapon of my closest friend. Fragment of the Po Jun spear's tip. The spear tip shattered. It means he had completely faded away. You hold that fragment. It was as if he could sense the ancient war god before his fall, holding a broken spear. A tragic final charge into endless darkness. Swordsmanship, Dan said. Jin said, you already bear the shadows of 3 old fellows. The Emperor Jiang's gaze turned serious again. Kid, I can pass my chi path to you. However, my way, unlike them, and was recognized as meritorious, alone is poisonous. This is precisely what causes distress, but they do not understand the way of chi. This is the soul of all things that appeals to them. Born to protect. The sound of rain falling was like a rainbow in the midst of heavy rain. Every word strikes at your heart. You must swear an oath. What you have made with your own hands, all serving as guardians, and not harm others for personal gain, which is desirable. Without the slightest hesitation, you lift your head, facing those eyes that could see through people's hearts. The voice was clear and resolute. The younger generation is Ling Yuan, and here, I swear an oath, the Qi Dao I have studied in this life, the Qi produced by it, all are meant to guard the righteous path within their hearts, protecting the comrades and friends of the household. Your lower ideals perfectly align with your true self. Good. What a good guardian. Lu Ban finally showed a relieved smile. He laughed heartily and boldly. Since I have sworn this oath, I will lead you inside. Your foundation is the sword. The eye sword behind you is just an ordinary thing. It can't carry your sword shadow. Your first mission, forge a true sword for yourself. An unprecedented light ignited in your eyes. Consciousness returns. You didn't delay for a moment. Instantly triple the points. All were replaced with the entire line of the forging room, and a pile of the most basic gold and iron. Hey Wengang, when you carry a pile of scrap metal to the practice room, this drew quite a few glances. What is Lin Yuan up to now? A few days ago, it was the formation genius. Today, I switched careers to become a blacksmith, a genius in various fields. I think it's all about everything. Everything is loose. You ignore all dissent. Gigi pushed open the heavy stone door. Boom. A scorching wave surged forward. You walk up to an empty practice table. Put down the materials. Looking at the blazing fire. For a moment, he was actually a bit lost. Just then, a lowered voice echoes in your mind. Forget what you see with hammers and iron. The pile of cold metal in front of him. Gradually, that pile of dead things came back to life. You heard it. Gold and iron convey stubbornness and resilience. Haymond is just telling stories of liveliness and gentleness. The auxiliary ore exudes clarity and sharpness. In an instant, you suddenly see the light. Qi refining, not forced distortion. Instead, it is listening and guiding. It is their nature. Play a harmonious symphony. You open your eyes. In those eyes, there is not a trace of confusion. You moved, but your movement, this left several apprentices nearby stunned. You don't just throw the material into the furnace. Instead, it draws out the gentlest strand of earth, like treating a western treasure, gently wrapping around the most stubborn crystal. What is this guy doing? Would you want to make the iron blockage for the head? Pretending, seeking favor by making a fuss. A few sneering laughs rang out. You turn a deaf ear. When all the materials are purified, when the fusion break starts, an even stranger scene unfolded. You have taken the smallest broken hammer. Close your eyes. His other hand gently rested on the red-hot sword token. Thud. A soft sound. Your knock. There is no fixed rhythm or intensity. Sometimes as light as a drop of water. At times it feels as heavy as thunder. But every time it fell, all the sword was precisely struck to channel internal energy flow. At the most critical moments, you're not using brute force to cut bullets. You are shaking the drum. Lies in the principle of Qi. You will carry the sword emperor's sharp wind. With every tap, immerse deep within the soul of the sword match. At this moment, your Hongmeng reaches the sea. All four statues shone together. Sword Emperor's Feng Rui. The structure of the Emperor Shen. The vitality of a single location. Reduced guard. For forces of strength. Through your hands. The first time was on an object. Achieving a perfect resonance. No one knew how much time had passed. When you strike the final blow, The entire refining process seemed to freeze in an instant. You pick up the sword blank, placed in cooling water. No steam is spreading, just one spoonful of water, infused with a gentle warmth. The laughter and laughter around grew even louder. After a long time, he managed to make a fire poker for the sake of it. He didn't even cut the blade. Can you chop firewood? You ignore it. You lift your sword from the water. It really doesn't look good. Dull and dull. The entire body is smooth and round, like an iron bar. However, when your right hand grips that plain sword hilt, buzz, a source is connected. A sense of mutual understanding. It surged through his entire body in an instant. You feel like you're not holding a sword. It's the extension of your arm. It is the cancer of your will. Beneath that simple exterior, a striking edge that shares the same roots as yours. Sleeping quietly, waiting for your awakening. Not bad. The lowered voice carries approval. This sword has no edge. The meaning lies within. Your intention is its sharpest person. Let's give it a name. Your mother has a gentle sword blade. He already had the answer in his heart. Great skill does not require aggression. The heavy sword lacks edge. Let's call it Wufeng. You hold Wufeng. He turned and pushed open the stone door, getting ready to return to the courtyard. Just as you step into the sunlight, ta-da-da-da-da-da, 3 distant, solemn bell chimes. The sound echoed throughout the Tianfeng Fifth Courtyard. A loud voice of spiritual power rang out, spread to every corner. The heavenly wind calendar lasted 738 years. The freshman grand competition, it will be 7 days from now, officially opened at the Central Yanwu Arena. All the new ones, regardless of cultivation level or background, all must attend. Throughout the 5 courts, a massive curtain of spiritual energy appeared out of thin air. Lines of names scrolled rapidly. You look up. At a glance, you can see the light screen closest to you. Among countless names shining with spiritual light, there is a name. It seemed so out of place, yet incredibly clear. It was placed at the center of the list. You look at your own name on the screen. His face showed no expression. But soon, Qin Yu and Wang Hu were about to stop interfering. His face was full of unmistakable worry. Not far away, that white-clad genius named Li Mu, watching you through the crowd. There was something in his eyes. He probably sees you as a rival, or a trouble you can't understand. First round. Draw lots for a showdown. Let's get started. The elder's voice was quiet when he started leading the team, but it instantly overwhelmed the entire audience. On the central light screen, hundreds of names started scrolling wildly. Everyone fell silent. A few seconds later, the light screen freezes. In an instant, the entire training ground exploded. Oh my god, look at Lin Yuan's opponent, Shemeng, the extraordinary Shemeng from Demai Hall. How are we supposed to fight like this? One dantian is ruined. One was born with divine strength. X meet rocks. On the light screen, your name is next to another name. Blindingly intense. Lin Yuan. Battle. Shemeng. This guy is the ace of Demai Hall. Gathering energy, competing in the 6 layers. Born with divine power. Specializes in the Pancha technique. He was famously tough and thick-skinned. The power is astonishing. Everyone felt the same. His past life was actually a done deal. So, this showdown was in their eyes. It's already over. The first round. East Arena number 1. Lin Yuan versus Shemeng. The referee's voice rang out. Tens of thousands of eyes flashed in an instant, all focused on you. Red Qin, curious, but more often, it's just watching the joke. A towering burly man. Lying there is a mountain-splitting hammer thicker than your calf. He was the first to jump onto the ring. East, the hammer slammed to the ground. The entire Qingjin stone arena trembled slightly. That fierce and domineering aura at his core. He rushed out directly. Shemeng, Shemeng. The cheers from the stands for him were like a tsunami. Then it's your turn. Under countless gazes, he strolled slowly onto the stage. You're still wearing that ordinary blue resentment outfit. In front of Shemeng's sturdy frame, it looks a bit thin. And what you are holding in your hand, not a sword, it was just a pitch-black iron bar. The whole venue was filled with the roar of pigs. Suddenly, I got stuck. Immediately after, it was an even more exaggerated uproar. What is that thing? A fire stick? Not even a single person. What was he doing here? And yielded the camp with hands clasped in respect. Got it. This is a direct surrender. Come up and go through the motions. On the high platform, several elders furrowed their brows tightly. Only Elder Zhao, the hand holding the teacup, froze in midair. In his cloudy old eyes, a flash of light that no one could understand. On the arena, Shemeng looked at the iron bar in your hand. He was stunned at first. Then the honest face flushed bright red. It was obvious they felt insulted. Lin Yuan, he spoke in a low voice. The sound was like thunder. I admire what you've done in Black Mist Valley, but contempt is contempt. You take this junk. He looks down on me. Or do you look down on yourself? He paused. His tone was fairly sincere. There's still time to talk. I don't want to accidentally hurt you. This remark actually won him quite a few fans. You lift your head, looking into his eyes, which were both angry and somewhat sincere. He calmly shook his head. Thank you. You shake the Wufeng sword in your hand. His tone was as calm as plain water. No need. That's enough. You know that well. Senior Emperor Jiang once said, this sword has no wind. The meaning lies within. Today, I happen to take him as the assassin Han. Shemeng looked at you like this. No more words. He took a deep breath. His legs sank, taking a stance. He instantly felt as if sitting on a mountain. Then be careful. The referee saw this. His arm swung sharply. Let's get started. As soon as he finished speaking, Shemeng moved. Roar, a loud shout. The floor tiles beneath his feet cracked on the spot. That massive body, shooting at you at an exaggerated speed. The mountain-splitting hammer in his hand was touched by Wen Yuan with one hand. With a small tip tearing through the air, it smashed right at your head. The mountain collapsed. This hammer, no probing at all. It is pure honesty. He wanted to use the most direct method. End this farce. A fierce wind blew across the face, blowing your hair all over the place. In the audience, Qingyue's heart leapt into her throat. Countless people stood up in fear. However, facing the overwhelming blow of Mount Tai, you didn't dodge. No dodging. He didn't even retreat a single step. You just stand there. At the moment the hammer was about to hit your face, only then did he raise his right hand. Using that dull, dusty iron bar, he stood across his face. Reception, using a fire stick to withstand the full force strike from the 6th level of giant chi. I'm confused. That was the only thought in the entire arena. Then, just as everyone thought, the moment you are about to be smashed to pieces, ding, a clear sound, so fragile it was unbelievable. Immediately after, a scene that made everyone's eyes pop out of their mouths unfolded. Your wrist, just a gentle twist, no head-to-head confrontation. Your windlass is like a slippery mud ball, close to the most tricky angle of the hanging surface. So, first, a front line. Shemeng Nai was able to strike with full force during mountain hunting. Just rub against your body like that. It blasted into the sky. Boom. A wave of energy explodes behind you, and Shemeng himself, because a punch hit cotton. The huge inertia made him lose control and rush forward several times. Almost fell. His face was flushed red. Looking back, he didn't even move his foot. My mind went blank. What just happened? Boxing ring. A desperate plan. A martial arts arena for tens of thousands of people. You could hear a needle drop on the ground. Everyone looked as if they had been used by a frozen spell, staring at you blankly. And that simple iron bird in your hand. One move. They couldn't even count any moves. Just a gentle tap. One rotation. Shemeng's earth-shattering hammer strike. That's it. That's it. On the high platform, an elder Huadi stood up. Fixate on the iron bar in your hand. His lips trembled. He shouted in shock. Not resolution. This is a drain of strength. It is a technique of the power of the heavens. Oh my god. He was fighting using the technique of cultivating chi. At that moment, completely igniting fashion. Humiliation and unwillingness left him completely sluggish. I don't believe it. A furious roar. He charged forward again, raising his hammer. Wild hammer technique. This time, the hammer was alive in his hands, and he got lost. Sweeping through, split it on the spot, lift upward, smash down. Each hammer was faster than the last. Each hammer is heavier than the last. The shadows of hammers weave a net across the sky. I've blocked all your escape routes. In everyone's eyes, you are like a small broken boat in a storm. It could be sunk at any moment. It's over. Now there's no way to escape. Ling Yuan is about to lose. However, you at the center of the storm. Instead of retreating, they advanced. You take a step forward, facing the saw hammer smashing toward his forehead. The Wufeng in your hand gently heals you. Ding. Another soft sound rang out. You didn't just take it head on. Instead, he precisely targeted the most awkward spot where the hammer handle joins. He swiped it in a smooth motion. That force of 1,000 pounds brushed against your shoulder again. It crashed into the ground. Boom. Arena matrix. Stones flew chaotically. Meanwhile, your steps dance on the edge of a knife. Furthermore, relieve force. Step back half a step. Shelter from the wind. Move to the left. Turn to the right. In the eyes of outsiders, you appear to be alive. But in the eyes of those who truly understood Gao Tai's skills, you are truly an extraordinary person. With every step, all of them were stepping on the crucial momentum of Shemeng's power. This is a prediction. He predicted the trajectory of each blow. Watch his breathing. There was no chaos at all. He didn't even use much force. Of course, you didn't use any force. All you can think of is Jiandit Sangxiao's icy voice. At the lowest cost, for the most perfect result. and does not harm people, nor does it harm oneself, is the time for the way of the sword. It's not that you can't fight back. Shenmeng's messy hammer magic power. There are at least 17 flaws. You can easily make him admit defeat if you pick any one. However, you didn't do that, because you see it in his eyes. All I saw was the purity and unwillingness of a martial artist. No malice. So, what you need to do is not defeat him. Rather, let him understand. Time ticked by, second by second. The atmosphere on the arena grew increasingly bizarre. Shenmeng's hammer from the wind logic. It became weak and feeble. He was soaked through. It was like being pulled out of water. The sound of gasping was like a broken bellows. In contrast, you, calm and composed, he didn't even mess up with a single kick. The balance of strength and weakness, completely upside down. What's going on? Senior brother Shenmeng seems to be. I have no strength left. That Lin Yuan. He never returned the hand from start to finish. The atmosphere in the audience. It has completely changed. From mockery, it turned into awe. Finally, Shenmeng drew his gun. He only managed to keep up by supporting himself with a hammer. He looks at you with a flushed face. For the first time, there was frustration and confusion in his eyes. He couldn't figure it out. The power I am most proud of. Why in front of you? Just like children playing house. This feeling, it was even more painful than being defeated in a single move. The overwhelming humiliation drove him to completely explode. His eyes were wide open. He squeezed out the last bit of spiritual power from his dantian. Lin Yuan, take my final move. He used all his strength. Raise the mountain-splitting hammer high above your head. Buzz. A momentum more astonishing than any before erupted with a thunderous roar. The hammer glowed with an earthy yellow light. It was as if the shadow of a mountain was pressing down. It was Shenmeng's trump card, the ultimate blood. An earth hammer. He was going to give it his all. Massive hammer wings, completely devouring you. And just then, you, who have always been wandering. The first time, he stopped. You no longer hide. You just stand there quietly. He looked up at the hammer wings falling like meteors. Finally, a trace of seriousness appeared on his face. You gripped that iron bar with both hands. Then, under everyone's shocked gazes, you made a move that no one could understand. You point the tip of the windless sword downward. Gently, he stepped into the ring beneath his feet. Eat. A soft sound. That iron bar, not sharpened. Like cutting tofu, he slid in without any resistance, all the way to the hilt. What exactly are you doing? This thought flashed through everyone's minds. The next second, you move. You release the hilt. The body sinks, both palms aimed at the hilt of the sword stuck in the ground. A gentle press. Rose, you quietly say a word in your heart. That feeling, like an invisible fate, facing Shenmeng's earth-shattering strike. You actually stuck your only weapon into the ground. Then, he pressed his palms down. This is giving up, waiting to be defeated. However, just as the hammer shadow is about to touch the front of your head, stop. Well, it was a discordant noise on this magical artifact. You gently poked with both palms. Sink. In an instant, tens of thousands of people in the venue unfolded with unforgettable moments. Shenmeng hovering in midair, the lapis lazuli floor tile beneath his feet before he jumped. Without warning, downward, it sank by half a bit, only half a cent. But for a dancer whose full strength is transmitted from the soles of her feet to her head, this half of the sinking is key. Just like when running at full speed. Suddenly, a patch of ground beneath her feet collapsed. Shenmeng's momentum, already condensed to its peak. It was broken. He felt like he had missed a step. All the strength in his body instantly spiraled out of control. That mountain-splitting hammer with overwhelming momentum. The light instantly dimmed, losing control and rubbing your body. It smashed diagonally into the empty space. Boom. A loud crash. The mountain-splitting hammer shattered the arena railing. It flew out. As for Shenmeng himself, like a kite with a broken string, he crashed heavily to the ground. He only stopped after sliding far away. He lay on the ground, gasping for breath. His face was filled with confusion. All that remains is the dazedness left after the worldview collapses. He was defeated. He didn't even know how he had lost. He only knew, at his strongest moment, the earth beneath his feet betrayed him. The entire venue fell into dead silence once again. The true drop can be heard. Everyone looked as if they had been struck by lightning, mouth open, staring blankly at the center of the arena. There, you slowly straighten up, gripping the hilt with one hand. With a gentle pluck, that windlass shaft was effortlessly pulled out by you. On the ground, not a single mark. You carry your sword. He walked up to Shenmeng. He nodded slightly. The tone was calm. Yield. No mockery. No showing off. At that moment, tens of thousands of students in the audience. Finally, he was awakened from the extreme shock. Then, the later eruption was more intense than any previous one. Oh my god, what did I see? Earth, the ground is moving. He can control the ring. How is this even possible? Isn't it that he doesn't have spiritual power? If you say so. The previous relief only shocked them. So at this moment, such a godlike way of controlling the scene brought to them. All that remained was the shock. This is not a martial skill at all. This is a divine power. On the high platform, the elder was so angry he was trembling all over. He plopped back down. He shouted tremblingly, "All things are abandoned." This is the legendary way to lower the old man. This kid, what kind of equipment is it? Elder Zhao slowly set down his teacup, looking at you. In his cloudy old eyes, shining with an unprecedented light. So that's how it is. He wasn't using spiritual power. He was using the rules. This child. We have touched on a field that none of us have yet to understand. Qin Yu and the others. He was so excited he couldn't speak. Wang Hu scratched his head. He forced out a sentence. I knew it. Ling Yuan and his brothers. He was no ordinary person. This battle was just the beginning. The next match, for everyone. It all turned into an incredible magic show. Second round. Your opponent is a speed-focused player. The result, he hasn't entered you yet. You casually thrust your sword into the air. He himself was as if it had come to his door. Strike a vital spot right in front of your sword. His agility was instantly exposed. Round 3. Your opponent is a swordsman. The result, he performed 30 flashy sword moves. I didn't even touch your foot. In the end, your wrist with the iron bar sheath went numb. He couldn't even hold his sword. A match, 2 matches, 3 sessions. You fight all the way up, unharmed. No matter who the opponent is. In the end, they will always be in the field they are most proud of. Being treated with a kind of frustration is the most stifling. Defeat in the most incomprehensible way. The name Ling Yuan. From the joke, it turned into a miracle. Finally, he became a wall that no freshman wanted to draw. You never use spiritual power. Never initiates attacks. He never even used a second move. You just stand there. The opponent will defeat themselves. This kind of dimensionality reduction strike, completely overturning their worldview. Finally, you step onto the arena for the final showdown. The atmosphere throughout the venue, it reached its peak. The final showdown. Ling Yuan. Battle. The referee drew out the sound. Another figure. Amid the cheers of the choral tsunami, he stepped onto the stage, dressed entirely in white, carrying an ancient sword on his back. His gaze was as sharp as a knife. He was recognized as the top genius among this freshman. Li Mu. When Li Mu stood across from you, the entire venue instantly fell silent. One is the center of attention, a brilliant genius of the royal way. One is crawling out of the abyss, mysterious and unfathomable rule-based equipment. Li Mu looked at you. There was no contempt in his eyes, only 7 seals of the opponent's fighting spirit. He spoke slowly. The voice was not loud, but it spread throughout the venue. Your path is very peculiar. However, in the face of absolute sharpness, all techniques will be cut off. As soon as he finished speaking, the ancient sword spear behind him rang out. It automatically draws out half an inch from the sheath. A cold, bone-chilling sword intent, rising into the sky. In that instant, it felt as if the whole world was left with only the two of you. He was like a drawn sword. You are a sheath that holds all things. Please. Li Mu spat out a single word. The next second, he moved. He took a step forward. The person has already reached your left side, swiftly toward the gusts of wind. The ancient sword was completely drawn. Elder, a 3-foot-long azure sword light, with a scorching scent. It slashed horizontally at your waist. However, your response is astonishingly simple. BA created a slender streak of blue light, so fast that it made no sound. This sword, there will be no way to avoid it. However, you never thought about avoiding it. You just quietly watched that light. Slowly, he raised his right hand, that dull and windless one. You use the simplest posture. Forward. A gentle tap. No spiritual power. No sword light. That's it. An ordinary point. All the Tao. At this moment, it all comes down to one point. Amid the shocked screams of tens of thousands in the crowd, just before Elder Zhao and the others were about to intervene, that streak of blue light representing the ultimate was evident, and that grey iron strip representing simplicity. They bumped into each other. Ding. A clear sound. Crisp, like the first drop of dew at dawn. Your windless sword tip, just so gently. He pointed it onto the tip of Li Mu's sword, which he often saw. Point to point. You ordered it, not his sword. It was all his strength, all the momentum. The one where all spirits converge is the most fragile, the most unstable core, like the first chapter of the domino card replenishment, and collapsed at the slightest contact. That unstoppable, youthful streak of light, starting from the tip of the sword, inch by inch, it fell apart. The raging spiritual power instantly lost control. It transformed into a gentle wave of energy that swept out. When the waves of energy disperse, you slowly withdraw your absence of wind. Looking at the man before him, though soul-crushed, but a genius with a straight back, he spoke calmly. Your sword, very soon. This was a simple compliment, but it was like a bolt of lightning. It suddenly rang in Li Mu's mind. He suddenly looked up, looking into your calm, ancient eyes. All the unwillingness and frustration. At this moment, all of it transforms into a kind of enlightenment and a heartfelt respect. He slowly sheathed his sword, facing you. Absolutely spot on. He bowed deeply. I lost. His voice was not loud, but it strikes everyone's heart like a hammer. Maybe your path is the right one. Li Mu straightened his feet. The despair in his eyes had vanished. Instead, it bursts forth with a brighter light. He looks at you, word by word, and the water was thrown to the bottom, making a sound. The heavenly wind is the 5th month. Too small. Kingdom of heavenly wind. It's way too small. I look forward to it. It lies outside the kingdom. That broader world. Fight you one more time. By then, upright and dignified, to determine victory or defeat. After speaking, he turned and stepped off the stage. His figure showed no trace of loneliness. Instead, he was more determined than ever before. This battle, your name, the sound echoed through the heavenly wind. Also for you, he won the first place at this point. A true opponent. You just panned one step to the right. Just this step, no more, no less. The sword light just grazed your foot. It struck the distant railing. Boom. The gold iron railing was cut open to a smooth Confucius. Immediately after, Li Mu twisted his wrist. Flow slash and cleave immediately. Sword light descended head on. You take half a step back. The sword light is almost right at your nose tip. Chop it on the floor beneath your feet. Boom. The floor tiles shattered. It's not about reacting quickly. On the high platform, a mentor from Jianqin Hall spoke in a dry voice. This is a prediction. Shifting left and right, your footsteps. He never left the 3-foot range. In the eyes of outsiders, you clearly wish to be reborn, but only you know for yourself. You're not hiding. You are dismantling. Every step Li Mu took, every arrow, in your eyes, it's all a fluid market, a force structure that can be calculated. You can always be half a step ahead. Stand in the most awkward spot for him. This prevents him from making any subsequent changes. This is not a fight. This is a ruthless dissection of power through rules. Time passed. Li Mu's forehead. I broke out in a sweat for the first time. He was deeply shaken, even fiercer than a tsunami. He felt as if every sword he struck through the air. You are like a remarkable person who can foresee the future. This sense of helplessness, it was even more suffocating than being defeated in one move. He knew, a normal move. It's useless to you. Phew. Li Mu suddenly reclapped his legs. Keep your distance from me. He held his sword with both hands, slowly raised it above his head. His entire aura changed instantly. All the spiritual power surged wildly into the blade. All at the tip of the sword. It condensed into a needle or sword-sized, bright white spots so bright they could be glaring. An astonishing aura that could pierce through everything. The mud spread out. This formation academy is bleeding to the extreme. Sudden wind stings. Li Mu's gaze locked onto you. His voice carried an unstoppable spirit. Ling Yuan, this sword, this is the ultimate I can reach right now. He caught it. The moment the words fell, Li Mu disappeared, his whole being, along with his sword.